Hello friends, welcome back. So in this session we will learn code coverage of unit testing. So what is code coverage? Code coverage will tell you the percentage of JUnit testing. You can say simply. Suppose if you have a one class, in that class one method or two methods are there, and you have written the unit testing for that one using some JUnit or some other tool. So what is the guarantee that you have tested your code fully, or you have tested your code 100%, or you have tested your code at some specific percentage rate, like 70%, 75, 80, 90, something like that. What is the guarantee that one? So that you can tell by seeing your code coverage only, your unit testing code coverage only. So you can say that code coverage is a metric that can help you understand how much of your source code is tested. How much means, if your statement if your method has 100 lines, so that all 100 lines whether you have tested or you have tested only 50 lines. Suppose in one class you have 3 methods, so in that 3 methods 100 lines are there, and that 100 lines may be that is coming from the different methods. Suppose in one method 30 line is there, in another method 20 line is there, another method 50 line is there. So it is like that only. So if you have tested only one method, then remaining 50 line will not be tested. And if your test case has some conditions, suppose if value is something, then you are executing particular block, and remaining block you are not executing. So like that, branches also will be there, conditions also will be there. Inside condition, n number of conditions can be there. So you have to make sure whether you have tested your code fully, or you have tested your code that is specified by your team, means how much code coverage should be there for your code. So that code coverage you can get using some code coverage tool. And code coverage is nothing but it is a metric that can help you to understand how much of your source code is tested, and it avoid risk and make sure that all parts of complex code have been tested before to release. Before to release, you have to make sure I have tested from my side all the statements, all the coverages, all the code I have covered in the JUnit. So what type of code coverage you have to see? You have to test function coverage. Suppose how many of the function defined in have been called. Suppose in one class 10 functions is nothing but methods. 10 methods are there. So whether you have tested all the methods or you have tested few methods, you have to tell. And statements coverage, how many statements are there in your class, how many statements are present in your method. So all the statement whether you have you have tested or not. So that is called statement coverage. How many of the statement in program have been executed. Third one is a branch coverage. What is the meaning of branch coverage? Branches are nothing but the branch will be defined by control statements only. Suppose if else or do while or while statement or for each statements, anything. So that statement will define the branch, so that all branches you have covered or some branches still pending to be covered. So that also we have to cover. So that is called branch coverage. Condition coverage, how many of the boolean expression, suppose the boolean expression evaluation wherever is happening, so that condition is satisfying all or not. And next one is the line coverage, how many lines you have covered in your program. So like that you have to test the code coverage also. You have to check whether how much coverage you are getting for your files, something like that. So how we can achieve that one? Suppose here if you see our code, we have written so many classes. If you see here, we have written 1 2 3 4 .java files we have. And inside this classes, if you see, if I open array utility, array utility. So here if you see 3 methods are there. So whether you have tested this 3 method and all branches have you tested, so that also you have to tell. How will you tell? Because we have written the test cases for array util in 2 files, not even 1 file. Also in 2 files we have written the test cases for array util class. But what is the guarantee that all the lines or all statements or conditions branches are tested? So that we have to see. In the same way for data repository, in data repository if you see 2 methods are there, and for these 2 methods which one is covered, which one is pending, how will you tell? So that also we have to make sure. So how will you get that one? So to see that one you need any of the code coverage tool. Currently this tool, so many other are there, but these 2 are very famous that can be used to see the code coverage. And ECL EMA, that is for Java code coverage, that also you can use. Currently we will use this first one only here. You can use this Cobertra also. You can download from here and you can see how we can install in our into our IDE, and how we can integrate and how we can see. And here we will use this ECLEMA Java code coverage. So that tool we have to install into our IDE first. So how we can install? Just copy this name first, just copy this one and go to your Spring Tool Shoot and go to help in the menu bar. From the menu bar, so you have to select from the help menu bar, you have to select Eclipse Marketplace and just click on Eclipse Marketplace. It will open. Okay, so here let it wait. Here if you see some progress bar is going on. Okay, now you have to search your software, whatever the software you want to install. So here just I will search for ECLEMA, and I just, after typing, I have to press enter and it will search for this plugin. So here this one is the software is available. If you see the description here, ECLEMA is a free Java code coverage tool for Eclipse available under Eclipse public license. It brings code coverage analysis directly into the Eclipse. Suppose here inside your file only you can here in this file only you can see which lines are tested, which lines are not tested. But if you use this Cobertra or this one, then it will generate one new file, and that file can be that file will be it can be XML file or that can be HTML file. If it is an HTML file, you can directly see in your browser, and inside your browser you can observe which lines is tested, which lines is not tested. You can use this one, no issue. But currently we will use this only. So what we have to do, we have to click on install and it will install this one. It is a very lightweight, it will not take your much time, it will be installed. Okay, yes, so just you have to accept this term condition and license agreement, and just check this one and click on finish. So if you see here downside, or if you see progress here, double click here, you will get the progress bar here. See, in this progress bar it is installing. So now it is inside, installed properly. So what you have to do, you have to restart your IDE. Just I am clicking on restart now, so it will restart your IDE. After restarting, it will you can see your code coverage in your IDE only. Okay, so now it is opening. Just wait. Okay, so now it is opening here. Now if you see here, here in this toolbar, if you see here, we are getting 3 run. Okay, this is running as debug mode, this is running as a coverage mode, if you see here. So now you can run, and if you want to run only single test case, then you can directly click here right click and run cover as, cover configuration, or just right click on your application. Suppose here right click on your project, cover as JUnit, click on cover as JUnit. So now it will run all the test cases and it will show you the code coverage. Yes, so all the test cases are passed. If you see here in JUnit, okay, so if you see, I will just scroll it up little bit. So here if you see, these many test classes are there. So all the test classes, all the methods are passed successfully, no error, no failure. Okay, and now from here you can see the code coverage also. Suppose here this is our JUnit, this is our JUnit. Here in this one, these are the files here, these are the test classes, and this is our source file. So we have to see that code coverage only for the test class, sorry, our source code. So this is our source code. So here if you see this class data repository, for this class code coverage is 68%, means 68% of your 68% lines or code you have tested for this file, and this one 100%, for this one 100%, 100%, like that, and total for the source code 85% code coverage is there. So which line is not covered, which line is covered, how will you see? Just right click here, sorry, no need to right click, or you can right click, sorry, just double click on this one, it will open this file. See, now this is that file that is opening here. See, so this is the code coverage for this one. So you can observe from here which lines is tested, which lines are not tested. See, this statement is never tested because control has never went to this line. This line is never tested. Even this line get objects, for this line this also is not tested. Control is not went to this line at all. This line is not tested. So whatever it is coming in the red line, that code is not covered and that lines are not tested. And whatever is coming fully green, that code is 100% tested. And what is this? Is a yellow type, that is a partially you can say that is a partially tested, because here are some branches are there. If you see how many total branches are there, 4 branches are there total. Total 4 branches are there. How? See, one branch is this one, field equal null. So this is the one branch. If field is equal null, this is the one branch, and the reverse condition of this one will become the another branch. Suppose if field is equal null, that is fine, this is the one branch. If field is not equal to null, so that will be by default, that will be another branch. It has to check for both the conditions. In both the condition it has to check. If your field is null, then this is fine, this is executing. If your field value is not null, but still your compiler has to do that comparison here, no? Suppose if the value of this field is null, in that case also your JVM has to make the comparison. Or if the field value is not null, in that case also your JVM has to make the comparison. So 2 branches are there. In the same way, field is blank, so this is a one condition, and if the field is blank, that is fine. If field is not blank, in that case also your JVM will call this method and it will check. So 4 branches are there here, total 4 branches are there. From that one, 2 branches are missed, 2 branches are covered. Which one is covered? If field is equal to not null and not blank, that branch is covered. Another branches are missing, and this statement is never executed at all. Like that, this statement also has 2 branches. You can see from here, this statement has 2 branches, no? One is if field value is equals to country, this is a one branch, and another one if field value is not country, that is another branch, no? So here if you see here, you can scroll your mouse here and you can see how many branches are there. Here if you see, this black dot is coming, diamond type is coming. So here one of 2 branch missed, means one branch is missed out of two branches are there totally, one is missed only. Okay, so like that you can check. If you can tell here also how many branches are there. Here two branches are there now. Here you see two branches are there. One branch, suppose if I if I scroll mouse here, then it will say all two branches covered. Sorry, all two branches covered, because two branches are there. Here how many branches are there, can you tell me? This is a one branch, and the reverse condition is null. Another branch, two branch and two branches are here. Total how many branches are there now? Four branches are there. Here no branch, and this statement never executed at all. Okay, so like that you can see the code coverage, and you can improve your test case. You can write the test case now. Now we can write the test case for what? We can write the test case for this condition no, into data repository test. What we will write? We will write the test case where the country name, where we will send the field name as country, and in that case these lines will be covered. So I will write that test case and I will show you. So here if you see, and current and one more thing, we have to remove this code coverage view here also. So how we can do? Just go to this code coverage tool, and just remove all session. Just click here. If you do one for this one, it will be removed for only this file, or just you can click on all sessions. Okay, so now it is removed. And now what we have to do? We have to write the test case for this also. So I will go to the file of data repository test 5, or anyone you can go, that is up to your choice, no issue. And here just I will do this is for another one. Okay, get object, that is another one. Go to fourth one, sorry. So if you see here, this is for city. In the same way I will write for get object test city. This is for country. This is for country. This is for country. So here I will send country. What I have to send here? If you see, country, and that country name we can check against some value. Suppose India or something is there. No, what is the country? Suppose India you can give. And if you see here, it will be, so this test case also will be now will called, and this code coverage also will be covered. So if I run here, right click here and cover as JUnit, and now you will see this code coverage also will be showing as a covered. See, it's covered now. And if you see here, the coverage for this class also, data repository, for this data repository, now it is a 92.9%. In the same way you can do the code coverage for this also. What we have to do? We will send this ID as a null, and this code coverage also will be covered. Suppose, okay, just remove this one. Okay. Also not this one. Yeah, this one only. So here if you see, I just copy this one and I will send, okay, exception, EXCEP exception. Just you give convenient name or some different name so that you can easily identify. And what we are expecting here, expected my custom exception dot class. Okay, so here okay, this is null, so remove this one. We don't need to do that one also. Okay, fine. So now I think that also will be covered. These branches also will be covered. Okay, so now I will run this one and you will see we are able to cover that one or not. Yes, if you see here, still it is not covered. Field get objects only, no? Which one? Oh sorry, get objects. This is for get objects, and this get objects is taking only one value field, so that's why you should not give that here. Sorry, we are calling to different method actually, that's why it's not covering. Now it should cover. Just to remove that sessions. Okay, now if I run again, and I think it will cover this time. Okay. Yes, now you see, now this one is also covered, this one is also covered, this one is also covered, all the lines are covered here. And here if you see the branches, one branch still missing. Which branch? This is not blank, so that branch how can you cover? You can simply cover that one in this test case only, into this test case only. How? You just send this as a blank, that's it. I think it will cover this one also, because both the cases it is matching with same only. So now if you see, okay, you have to write separate test case only. Sorry, I will just copy this one. You just give test case 2, because for each branch you have to write test case separately, then only it will be covered. Okay, so this one is for null, this one is for null, and this one is for empty or blank, for blank condition, or this one is for null condition, this one is for blank condition. Two conditions we are giving, no, here. If you see, now this is all branches are tested, you can see here all 4 branches covered. So this is for 1 null, whatever we are sending here for null, this is for 1, this is for blank. You don't consider this test cases, because this is our test file, leave this one. If it is tested, not tested, because these are not executed. Why it is not executed? Because here only it is got exception, that's why it is not covered. Here also it got the exception, that's why. Otherwise this will be covered, no issue. And you no need to worry about the code coverage for the test class, no need to do that one at also. It is checking by default whether this test case, whether these statements are executing or not, because here it is getting the exception, so so that it's not executing, that's why it is coming in red. And but you no need to consider that code coverage for the test class. You have to cover the code coverage only for the source file, only for that, only for the classes that is for your project. Test cases that you have written for your source code only, so you no need to consider the code coverage for your test class. Okay, so this is fine. Now for this one, if you see, we have almost covered, and this line is not covered here. So how it is possible? How will you cover this one? If your id is not null and id is something different, then you can send id something different and you will get it null. You can do that also. Suppose here if you see data repository 4, and we will do that also. So this one is for a get object set null. Yes, so this one is for null. Okay, so this one is also for negative category, negative and negative test case. This is a negative, that you can whatever you want to mark that category you can do, no issue. And here I will give 2. So in this case, this will be what? Why it is exception? Test case 3. Okay, 2 is already there, I think. Okay, so here I will give 2, and in this case asset will be null always. So this test case also should be passed here now. And now if I see the code coverage, that line also will be covered now. Yes. If you see, now this is covering, this return null, it was not covered before, now this is covering also. So like that you can here if you see that branches also, which branch is missing, you can test that also. One of the 4 branches missed, which branch is missed here? If id is not equal to null and id is this one, so id is null. If it is a null, then definitely it will throw here. So this currently this statement doesn't hold any meaning actually. You cannot cover this branch at all. Sometime that code is written in this way only. Sometime you can ignore one or two branches if it is missing, or if you are not able to cover that branch. So sometime the code will be written in such a way that you cannot cover the branch also. Suppose how we cannot cover this branch here, because at line number 13 this id variable will not be null at all. Why? Because at line number 11 only we are checking if id equal null. So if it is null, then we are throwing exception here only. So if id will be null and we have thrown exception already, in that case your control will not move to line number 30. It will not be moved to line number 13, sorry. Because we are line number 11 only, at line number 11 only we are checking whether id equal null. So if it is null, then definitely we are throwing exception. In that case your control will not move to next line number 13, your control will not come. So you cannot test this branch id equal null. This branch, no, you cannot test at all. So this is the one advantage we are getting here of unit testing. Whatever the unnecessary code you have written, you can remove that one. Here this code is unnecessary. You can remove this id not equals to null, id not equal to null. So this code is unnecessarily you are writing, and unnecessarily we are making comparison here, because this comparison also will take some time to execute. Your JVM has to execute this statement this much only, and in that case after executing this statement your JVM has to make comparison again. So this will waste your CPU time also, no? So you can remove this statement. This is the one advantage of unit testing you are getting. Any unnecessary statement that you no need but still you have written in your program, you can remove that one. This statement id not equals to null is not required at all, because you are testing this, you are making this comparison at line number 11 only. So this branch you cannot test at all. So just I am removing this one, and if you now this one is fine. Now you can just clear this one and see the code coverage again. Okay, yes, now you see all the test cases are successfully passed, no failure, zero failure if you see here. And code coverage, if you see for your files, that is now 100% for all. Array util also 100%, this one also 100%. Now you can say your code is fully tested and ready for deployment or ready for production. So like that you can do the code coverage, and you can see. And to remove this this code coverage view, just click on this remove all session. And sometime if you closed this tab, coverage tab, suppose if I run this one, so you close this coverage tab, then how can you get that one again? Just go to this search and type COV coverage. So if you see here coverage, so this is a view. So now you want to see code coverage view, so this code coverage view is coming here. And now what you have to do, you have to run this one. If you are closing this tab and directly if you run, then also it is fine, no issue. Code coverage view, it automatically come, no issue. Yes, this code coverage view is coming, and from here you can observe your test case, how much is code coverage for your source file. And if you closed here, if you see, now you have closed your code coverage view, but you have not cleared this view code coverage view. So you can just go to this search and type here coverage, and after that one just clear the session, so it will go on. So like that you can do the code coverage for your test cases. You can see how much code coverage is there, and accordingly you can improve. You can increase the code coverage by seeing the code, which code is not tested, why it is not tested. So accordingly you can write your the test class test case, a new test case in your test file, and you can do the code coverage and you can increase that one. Okay, so this is all about the code coverage of unit testing, and in the next session we will see JUnit 5 introduction, because currently whatever we have seen in this tutorial, whatever we have seen, that was only for JUnit 4. Now the latest version JUnit 5 is also available, so we will see that JUnit 5 and we will start that course from the next session. Okay, I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye and thanks for watching.